I am the one and only Eagle Double T. And in this video, I'm going to be telling all of you my top 5 Nintendo innovations of all time. So let's begin. Coming in at number 5, we have the Nintendo 64's 4 controller ports. Now, I know this would have happened eventually on, like, PlayStation or, when Xbox came out. But on the N64, it was the first to do it. The PlayStation only had 2 controller ports, the Sega Saturn had 2, and the Atari Jaguar had 2. Also, all previous consoles only had 2 controller ports also. So, it was pretty cool, and it definitely used the 4 controller ports for games like Super Smash Bros. And, all Nintendo consoles after that have had 4 controller ports, or 4 or more controller connectivity. So, like, on the PlayStation, you had to buy an adapter, but the N64, 4 controller ports were right there. Coming in at number 4, we have the D-pad. Now, before the Nintendo Entertainment System came out, NES, you had the big fat, Atari joysticks that you would think of. But Nintendo came out with the D-pad, also known as the gamepad. It offered a new level of control. It was small, it was flat, it was compact, it was comfortable. And Nintendo has always had the best gamepads. If I was to choose between an NES gamepad and a PlayStation 4 gamepad, I'd choose the NES any day. The N64 had a great one, and the best yet is probably the Wii U's, which is slick, black, looks great, and functions flawlessly. Coming in at number 3, we have the joystick. Now, I know Nintendo did not invent the joystick, but it was the first mainstream console to use one. A lot of people say it absolutely sucks, and that it breaks really easily. I've never had mine break once, but it's not that great of a joystick. But you gotta remember, this is like the first joystick that anyone actually cared about. And at least Nintendo didn't have to learn from another company, PlayStation. Because PlayStation, I will give them points for putting 2 joysticks on their DualShock. But, yeah, they had to learn from Nintendo when it came to the joystick. But, it would have happened eventually. They would have put joysticks on consoles, but the N64 was the first to do it. Coming in at number 2, we have wireless controllers. Now, we started seeing wireless controllers in the 6th gen, and this was the first one to use it. Now, this wasn't the first wireless controller, but this was really the first console to ever use one. The battery life is great. It is pretty bulky, and the battery pack is overly big, but it had good battery life. It had good range. And, it was basically just a GameCube controller that was wireless. While you did have to adjust the channel, which is pretty annoying, at least they had a wireless controller in the 6th gen. Something Xbox, the Dreamcast, and PS2 didn't have. But the GameCube did, and it was a pretty good controller. Coming in at number 1, we have the Wii Remote, or, motion controls. Now, the first motion controller to actually put into a console, it's great. I know you're probably thinking that, the Wii Remote absolutely sucked. Well, it really didn't. It really didn't. And I'm not saying that because I like Nintendo, but it honestly works really good. I've never had a single problem with mine. The only complaint that I could possibly have with this thing is that it does eat through battery life. And it uses batteries, but you can buy rechargeable battery packs, which work just fine. The button layout is, it's great. Like Wii Sports Resorts, yeah, that's like, show off the console's motion controls, and it was awesome. It really worked. And, it was used in retirement homes. It actually got people, interacting with their console, actually getting up and doing stuff. It was a great controller. It had a speaker, which was, what other consoles after the Wii learned from. You could buy Wii Motion Plus to put on the end, so it'd have enhanced motion controls, or you could buy a remote with it built in, which came out later. You had the Nunchuck, which just offered a greater degree of control. So, all in all, the Wii Remote, its motion controls, it actually works. It's a great controller, and definitely one of Nintendo's best innovations/inventions. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff about video game consoles or controllers. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and please comment. I am the one and only Eagle Double T signing off. Goodbye.